slow character change in that as he goes down this route. Yes, we should kill everyone for Satan. That's helped by long reign. Well, that's good timing. At the age of 80, he died just a year after his wife. Now, because we have seniority succession, we've got this 50-year-old as our successor. And they're about to get pneumonia. So, 50-year-old with a -4 health bonus. This could go very quickly. The defensive pact has been dissolved. We should arrange a coronation, but I'm going to say we can't get crowned until we have survived pneumonia, because we have to prove our worthiness first. To pick a focus, well, let's go with stewardship. This is clearly what he's all about. He's a terrible ruler. This means he'll focus on improving his governance of the realm, and he might even get an upgrade to this education. Now, you may be wondering why I'm not going for a health bonus. Do I just want him to die? Well, actually, you can't change your focus for 5 years after you pick it. So we do have to go for the focus we want now. And we have a discontent council, which could apparently cause problems with rebel factions. Well, we did just lose a big opinion bonus, although we should have an opinion of predecessor bonus. Well, plus 22. Okay, it's fairly modest. The Duke of Ars have a high opinion bonus there because when we took this duchy from our claim from the Pope, we then had too many. You're only allowed 2, or your vassals start becoming discontent for your hoarding titles. So we granted out this one of land he already had all of for a plus 60 bonus. Now, for solving the discontent of the council, we are going to have to replace this duke, which is going to make him quite upset because he is just truly awful. We could go for Weiss, however, then they don't particularly like us, so that's not going to solve the discontent issues on the council. We're going to go for this loyalist, the Earl of Westmoreland. This is someone we gave a piece of land to and then pushed their claim in Ireland. So they absolutely love us in terms of that absolutely huge opinion predecessor bonus, plus 86. We gave them this land here and they took this. We also had a bastard with one of our daughters, destroying their betrothal. But that's all our last character's problem now. Our wife is a genius, and so they are truly incredibly skilled. And actually, we can also make them our spy master. Now, I thought because of this law here, we wouldn't be able to install them into that position. However, it seems there is an exception for the wife of the ruler. So this would presumably then mean sister's daughter's mother, which would allow you to keep a very good spy master in if you inherited as the child. So let's now look at how the council is looking. So we have a loyalist, a glory hound, so they're pursuing prestige. One of them that is just malcontent, but we've not really got anyone to replace him with. And 2 that are zealots. So it says this means that they are going to oppose us declaring war on those around us that are our own religion, if we could be declaring holy wars. So basically, they're really pushing for us to get rid of these damn Norse from the British Isles. I mean, that was supposed to be the legacy of the forming of the Kingdom of England. It's the gathering of the Anglo-Saxon people to push out the Norse. However, hopefully we can find a way to get some of these other lands together first, because we look into Ireland, we can see that the Danish are eating up these small kingdoms that we weren't able to grab last time. This person's losing a war again. I mean, look at that. Basically the entire North world invading this tiny little tribal county to strengthen their foothold in the north of Ireland. So we do have to strengthen the Kingdom of England quickly enough to be able to fend off against Denmark. What we could really do with are alliances with both France and Germany. However, they keep going into revolt and are really in quite weak states. But if they can become a little bit more stable, then alliance with both of those at once that we could call in against Denmark might allow us to push back the balance to start rolling their power back, and thus prevent in the future simply a prepared invasion of the Kingdom of England. Because as you saw, they did a prepared invasion against the Kingdom of Scotland, which actually they've just won, but that's because it was only against the Shetlands. So if someone larger comes in and they actually bring Norse allies with them, we could be in a lot of trouble. And we've just survived the pneumonia, so he is worthy. At the age of 50, he survived it, so let's get crowned. Of course, we're going to replace the Pope. I'm thinking about what he would do. Well, he is charitable, which is the opposite trait of greedy in CK2. He's cynical, so he doesn't really believe in this whole coronation thing. His right to be king coming from God. His right to be king came from his half-brother. But he is ambitious, he really wants to reach the top. I mean, I think that definitely demands that he gets this crowning from the Pope. But I don't see why he'd need an extravagant ceremony. I think a dignified ceremony with the Pope. And the Pope's actually said that those preparations we made were very nice, and he loved them. So he really didn't sheep out, after all. How would we like to learn from what's the events of the coronation? The cynical person with a mathematical education, I think he would want to join the conversation about these metaphysical subjects. We don't have the ability to claim these lands for ourselves, and we can't establish tributary state. We don't. The culture's not allowing that kind of agreement at the moment. We could go in and extort tribute and just say, give us 40% of all of your income. That's a social structure that would be acceptable given the state our culture's in at the moment. And we were commenting on how weak Europe is at the moment. So actually, with France, it's got a very juicy income. It's very wealthy, but it's just got no ability to protect that wealth. Well, it's down a bit at the moment because it's been fighting lots of wars. So what we could do is take advantage of that situation, because normally we'd actually be weaker than France. And if we're quick, we can greatly increase the wealth of England and our ability to invest in strengthening it. We still have these two commanders that we got with our last character because they were quite young. However, we're not going to be able to personally lead our armies anymore because our character is not very good. So we're going to have to appoint another commander. We can't appoint our vassals, and actually they'll get an opinion bonus. So I'm going to appoint a couple of our vassals here. We'll appoint White as well. I should give them a little +5 bonus for being a commander. However, what we're also going to do is search for a commander who would be willing to come and join us. And actually, with a siege leader here, which is something that none of our other commanders are specialising in, we could also choose an organiser. So an organiser is going to let us move much more quickly. That could help us dodge out of the way of larger armies that are trying to pin us down and attack us if we need to manoeuvre around. But a siege leader would also, plus 40% sieges is huge, and that is how you win wars. It's actually sieging places down. So actually, I'm going to invite both of those to our court, and because initially we're going to be hunting down for their armies, so I'll use the organizer, and then what I'll do is I'll replace this commander here, who only has 11 and is just a bishop. So isn't a very high station, and therefore doesn't need to be pleased by being commander. This man of the Isle of Wight has been accused of apostasy. Well, they are a hedonist, so actually it's entirely believable to me that, highly suspicious hedonist. Yeah, they are probably having Satan parties. And also they don't like us. I mean, that's the main reason. If they were really a supportive vassal, we can find another way. But no, we're definitely burning him. And their child actually likes us more and doesn't have a problem because, that was a legitimate execution. Well, we can see that there's sieging going on down in Modbol. We can see where that's all the fighting's happen. So let's go rush down there and knock those armies out. Oh no. Warrior Brotherhood of the North, as if they weren't powerful enough already. Oh yes, and they've got their army fractured in tiny little pieces. That's exactly what we want to see. There was a siege engine over here a moment ago. So, oh, there's one down there. Ah, but that's an enemy sieging the region of France, so that's not what we want. Yes, that's a member of the revolt. So let's go back up and siege the capital. And our syphilitic nephew, betrothed to the Duchy of Kent, we are educating them. So we're trying to make them a nicer person. Yeah, we have also educated them as a scholarly person, a bookish person. So that does seem to be what our character's going into. Perhaps if he does survive a while, we'll actually go into scholarship rather than rulership. It makes sense. He comes onto the throne. Okay, I need to work out what I'm doing and become and focus on being a good king. But after that's calmed down after 5 years, then we should focus on scholarship, because that does seem to be the direction his character leans in, and that's where we should take it. And this is the King of Navarre, the King of Leon, Arles, and Galicia, who we marry this brilliant wife to, who was our previous character's daughter. And so that's going to really strengthen his position and may actually allow him to fend off the Umads, who seem to be having some internal stability problems. That seems to be a theme in a lot of our countries, but luckily we're doing quite well in terms of internal stability. We're just very threatened by outside enemies at the moment. Our wife doesn't like us particularly very much, and they are a spy master. It's very important that a spy master likes you, so they don't turn against you when they are entrusted with all of the scheming and the plotting in the realm and finding it out. It's very important. So we will invest in strengthening that relationship. And actually, we're back at home. We're not off at war, so we're going to focus on swaying our wife. And their troops here are really struggling because the reason I'm not rushing up there is they don't have enough troops to siege it down. So currently they're just standing there waiting, but they don't actually have enough troops to properly surround Westminster and cut off some supplies. So their siege is completely ineffective, meaning really they are just losing troops to attrition. The danger of just leaving those troops there is, at the moment, they're nicely fractured, and if they get joined by more troops, then that's going to be a harder battle. That's the mistake we made with Denmark. But 500 troops is a different story, and they don't actually have enough troops. Even if they join all of their troops together into one place, the battle would still be very easily in our favour. So that's not an urgent threat, and it's more important to be focusing on sieging down places to get war score up quickly before their vassal levies reinforce, and they do have a large enough army to take us out. Well, this person is touching on some heretical ideas. However, we're cynical, so yeah, we maybe have perhaps even a bit of reputation. I think we would. We know that we're researching questioning character. That's what we were saying before. He would absolutely say we should be asking these questions about God. She gives me a strange leather pouch. Well, we'll go with it. I want to see where this leads. We did just burn someone for being part of a Satanist society. But he didn't do it because they were Satanists. He did it because they were a threat to his ambitions. They didn't like him as a vassal. Yes, there's a new king in town. And his right to rule is from Satan, not God. Yeah, God's an asshole. Oops. That's true, the priests in the church do lie. I mean, this guy is... It's not the shop to said, this guy is not an enlightened man. But that doesn't mean he doesn't think he is. I think, no, he is... He's not saying everything the church said is good isn't good. He's not a bad person. I think I still want to stick to his character. This person has had these traits for decades. I think we may see some slow character change in that as he goes down this route. But I don't think he'd suddenly just give up being charitable and go, yes, we should kill everyone for Satan. That's currently he's doing this for scholarly reasons. Let's just commit. I mean, he's not going to be doing any personal fighting, so this bonus deck negative's fine. That's so. Now our wife has pneumonia. I didn't even have to give it to them. Yes, we'll call for the court physician at once. Wife, you must see if you are worthy to be the Queen of England by the trial by pneumonia. My God, I'm glad they did trial by pneumonia. Any other trial, you would succeed. You're not just zealous. I mean, this is a truly devout woman. I mean, just, content, honest, and 5 of the perfect virtues and nothing else. I mean, this... Ooh, God. Maybe it'll be convenient if the pneumonia got them. I don't think they're going to... it's going to go very well if they get any whisperings of rumours. Well, quite so, actually, in terms of the council. Ooh. There's some positions opened up. Well, we better fill those. I was going to say before, because of course it was 2 of them were zealots. Well, the court chaplain made sense being a zealot. This erudite, brave, ambitious person, you know, they're not particularly a theologian actually, but you know they're good to they're a very smart person. They just didn't learn all of the details of the silly doctrine of the Catholic Church. Well, this seems like the perfect person for our character. Yes. Talking about tax levels. See, we're simply a man of mathematics. Yes, we're a man of discourse. They're just flattering him. But they know what he wants to think of himself as and what he wants to be. But now we have to do something committed. Well, we're not particularly chaste. She's absolutely zealous. So much so that she wanted to restrict what he could do as the king when she was on the council, potentially stopping us declaring the right wars to empower us and fulfill his ambitions. And you know they have an okay relationship, but not brilliant. I don't think he minds. See, if it was kill someone to prove your devotion, I'd say no, he wouldn't do that. Just like stab this person right in front of you in cold blood. But just, you know, cheat on the wife that you're incredibly suspicious of and is a huge threat to your power. You know, that's more convincing. And what's our opinion of her? You see, we really don't like her. We did it because we thought it was important to move on and it was an acceptable sacrifice to make. But yes, I think we're still looking at it more as a necessary, acceptable evil. Yeah, so it's really kind of, it's what he's showing us is actually his cynicalness. It's almost a bit of paranoia, actually. He really is concerned about threats to his power. So that's really, I'm going to play into that in terms of leading the story with his character. A book of poetry. Poet. See? He is smart. 8 is an average noble. Oh, right. They've just raised some more armies. So we've seen where the direction they're going. We're gonna grab those. Ah, damn. The Count of Surrey, right next to us, perhaps involved in the recruiting of us behind the scenes, has been burnt by the court chaplain of Kent. We are marrying our family into, actually, the future Dutch of Kent. We are actually educating. We haven't had any events, I suppose we've not been seen in the society very long, in terms of bringing them into the fold. But that could have been quite funny. But no. We're starting to show empathy for these people over others. We're starting to see it from the other side. And my God, it's an extremely popular society. Not just the Count of Surrey. It must have... Sorry, it must probably be about half of England in there. I know that'll be some of the rest of Europe in there as well, but Blimey, no wonder we were finding heretics. Now we have lost quite a lot of troops, and they now have more than ours. We've got another 2,000, as they did. That's like they did their second raising. We're now going to do a second raising. So we're going to bring these troops back to England. We're going to pull out of France and just leave these garrisons in the places that we've sieged down. Now bringing these armies in. Leaving these siege lands down is a brilliant lure. This person is famous as the witch hunter for burning down the people, like we saw there with Surrey. We've just finished the education at some, but yes, unfortunately we weren't able to pass anything on. However, he is a lunatic, having developed that from syphilis. Syphilis can send you mad. So she's going to have fun with her having a lunatic husband. And maybe we can bring him into the fold closer. Make that a personal mission. There's going to be a theme here. So, yes. And we get the opinion bonus for waiting for them to talk about the betrothal. Yeah, he does seem to have got quite riled up about pointing out his friend, his fellow intellectuals fighting against the unjustness of the priestdom. They're being killed off. I think he would maybe start to go down that route. And we're ambitious. We're not just going to host a decadent feast in his name. We're going to tour around masquerading as him. I mean, he's taken the leap to murder now. He was going, yeah, we're going to go out and teach him a lesson, and this person just killed him. So he joined in, I guess. This is the character he's become. So yes, we're going to tour the side masquerading as him. Let's try. Spreading, so obviously going from, oh, this is a zealous priest, and we're going to spread ideas about against what he truly believed by masquerading as him. That's why I think that's the more ambitious route. And now we've been asked to kill someone and sacrifice them to Satan. I said he wouldn't do that, but he did literally just do that. He did literally just kill a priest. So, yeah. Maybe he's going to stop being kind. Such a kind person. Or maybe, he's killing these priests because they're killing his friends. It's not necessarily he's not kind in general, but he's just really developed this new sense of allegiance. We'll see. If he doesn't lose kind, then that's the way I'm going to play it. And we spread religious unrest, successfully masquerading as the police, and thus being very deceitful and managing to pretend to be the other person is quite impressive. So yes, he's gained that skill and become better at the intrigue. And our co-conspirator in the event has told the King of Denmark that it was us that did it. Now, so we weren't actually killing a Catholic priest, we were killing a Germanic priest. So actually, no, never mind. Of course he was okay with that. No one would have a problem with that. But we are now literally rivals with our strategic rival, Denmark. 16,000 total troops. We currently have 5,000, up to a maximum of 7,000 when they fully reinforce. So, maybe that wasn't such a good idea. We're going to need some, but, now there's a huge threat to his ambitions. I think he's going to really need the help of a powerful patron to be able to fend off against Denmark now. And we're going to leave it there as he begins very rapidly to succumb to the darkness. Subscribe, Hell Satan, Hell Jesus. Press that button, subscribe, watch the video. There's a recommended video. Watch it now.